We have an email from someone who writes in anonymously and says, "Hello, I am a Korean Christian. Please understand that the language of my email may be awkward due to the use of a translator." Well, I love that you're a Korean Christian. My brother and his wife, who had 3 boys, also adopted a little 6-month-old baby from Korea. And she's in her late 30s now, and she's absolutely beautiful. He says, "I was raised a Protestant and used to be a Catholic catechumen, but I quit. One of the reasons is because the modern Catholic Mass feels too modern and similar to Protestantism." That's exactly right. Of course, those things have nothing to do with whether Catholicism is the truth, but for me, they were difficult to bear. They are for many people. They are for many people. He says, "I've been to both Catholic and Anglican Masses." Well, the Anglican Mass is not a Mass, beloved. Anglican is not a Mass, it's a Protestant service. He says, and they aren't all that different. Yes, I know. But they're very different because at the Anglican service, you do not receive the body, blood, soul, and divinity of Christ. It's simply wheat and water. He goes on to say, rather, Catholics rarely use Gregorian chant at Mass, while Anglicans use them every Sunday. I find it ironic that the heritage of the Catholic Church is not used in the Catholic Mass, but is instead used in the Anglican Mass. It is ironic, and you've got it right. And while the personal ordinariate uses the Anglican liturgy, I find it ironic that its Mass is more reverent, more traditional, more Catholic, and less Protestant than most new Masses. Well, or than all new Masses. The ordinariate Anglican Mass, the ordinariate Anglican is a Mass. If you just say the Anglican Church or the Episcopal Church, it's a Protestant service. But if you're talking about the ordinariate that has been brought into the Catholic Church, that is Catholic, and it is a Mass. I've attended the ordinariate. It would not be my choice, but it is Catholic, and it is a Mass. He says, I find it ironic that its Mass is more reverent, more traditional, more Catholic, and less Protestant than most new Masses. I've also been to SSPX Masses and Eastern Orthodox Divine Liturgy, and I felt things there that I don't feel in Protestant churches. But most modern Catholic Masses just feel Protestant. It's because they are Protestant. They're Catholic Masses, but they are, for the most part, Protestant. It's what came out of Vatican II. And it was the purpose to help blend with Protestants to make it more acceptable. He says, the general instruction of the Roman Missal says, quote, all other things being equal, Gregorian chant holds pride of place because it is proper in the Roman liturgy, end quote. So why is it not observed? Because Vatican II departed from the beauty of the Mass. It departed. Protestant pastors were part of forming the liturgy of Vatican II, and many of much of the beauty, the language, the rubrics were simply thrown out. It's not observed because the church has turned from it. It was really difficult, he says, to bear when the Sunday Mass at the Catholic Church I attended used modern Protestant songs, let alone Gregorian chants. Also, if I become Catholic, I would like to receive communion on the tongue, but in my country, receiving communion in the hand is the default. If I ask a priest to give me communion on the tongue, he might suspect me of being an SSPX or a Bayside apparition follower. If there was a FSSP parish, Byzantine Catholic parish, or personal ordinariate parish near me, I could go there. But I don't have one in my country. Oh, I'm so sorry. My goodness. There is one church that is in communion with the Pope and celebrates the Latin Mass, but it's too far from where I live. He continues, I'm not saying the new Mass itself is the problem. I'm saying it's the problem. He says, but I just don't understand why the new Mass is celebrated in a Protestant way, because it is the problem, beloved. I don't care if it's the new Mass, the Latin Mass, the Eastern Divine Liturgy, or the personal ordinariate. I just want a reverent Mass. I'm going to tell you what I would do. I think a number of people are going to come against me for this. The first thing I would do is to visit every single Protestant church, Novus Ordo Mass. Every single Novus Ordo Mass I could get to within an hour of my house. If it's a Sunday, I could probably travel longer. But I would do I know there are people who travel to Latin Masses here, and they travel over 2 hours with their family on a Sunday. It doesn't allow them to go to daily Mass, but they travel over 2 hours on Sunday to get to a Reverend Latin Mass. So if you can do that, I would suggest it. If you cannot, I would go to every Novus Ordo parish within an hour or more of you and see what their Mass is like, and if the priest will serve you communion on the tongue. Because you might find a more reverent priest in a Novus Ordo parish who might even be celebrating Mass ad orientem, but at least be more reverent and allow you to kneel and receive on the tongue. I would do that first. If there's no such thing, I'm announcing this, I'm not telling you it's right, I would go to the SSPX church. I would do that. I think their official stance is still in schism. Pope Benedict lifted the excommunication of the 4 bishops. For some reason, he didn't say that they're in regular communion with the church after he did that. I don't know why. The Vatican has appointed Bishop Athanasius Snyder a couple of years back to visit the SSPX order and churches and to report to them whether or not they're in schism. And Bishop Athanasius Snyder did a thorough investigation. He was with them. He was with them in their houses, in their orders, in their masses. Every one of them had a picture of Pope Francis on the wall. They pray for the Holy Father. They're not. They don't consider themselves. They're not sedevacantists. And Bishop Snyder came back saying that they were fine, but somehow there are good prelates. I think Cardinal Burke is one of them, and who does not recognize them as being outside that excommunicated state. It's a very complicated, confusing, and grievous situation. Their Mass is valid. We've been told that. We've also been told by the Church that if there's no way to go to another Mass, we could go to the SSPX. That's okay. In your situation, my dear brother, I would go. I would make the SSPX my parish and go. I would. I might be taken off the air for such a thing, but I'm letting you know. The Church has become so irreverent and so bad. Pope Benedict said that it'll probably go underground within our time. If you cannot find a priest to invite you to his personal Mass, perhaps, or serve you communion on the tongue, I'd simply go to the SSPX. I don't know what else to tell you, beloved, but I will tell you to become Catholic. I will tell you to become Catholic. To remain Protestant is to remain outside the Church. You must become Catholic. So that's my advice to you. I don't know if it's the best holy advice, but I'm telling you what I would do. And personally, I can't tell you it would be God's approval, but it's what I would do. And it's what some holy bishops would do. So I have to leave it at that, my dear brother.